The invisible founder. The Hartwell Tower stands as a monument to modern corporate success. Inside, thousands of lives intersect in a race for status and survival. But among the elite, one man remains completely invisible. Franklin Reed is the billionaire founder, yet today, he is just a janitor. After a heart attack 3 years ago, he decided to see his world differently. The executive floor is where the most ambitious people play their games. Victoria Blake, the newly promoted regional director, enters the scene. She walks with a sense of ownership that borders on arrogance. She sees the old janitor as nothing more than an obstacle in her path. "Watch where you're going," she snaps without looking him in the eye. "Sorry, ma'am," Franklin says, keeping his head bowed low. Victoria doesn't accept the apology. She uses it to lecture him. If everyone did their jobs correctly, this company wouldn't have problems. Maya Hernandez watches from her desk, her brow furrowed in sympathy. She feels the weight of the injustice, but is hesitant to speak up. "He's just doing his job," Maya says softly, approaching the two. Victoria turns her venom toward the young employee instead. "Then maybe he should do it better," Victoria retorts before walking away. Maya turns to Franklin with a look of genuine apology. Franklin says nothing, but he looks into Maya's eyes and remembers. Franklin quietly continues mopping, a shadow in the bright office. He sees the way people change their faces when they think no one is looking. In his disguise, he sees the raw truth of his company's culture. He is collecting data, not on profits, but on human souls. The experiment is revealing things he never expected to find. Over the next few weeks, Victoria's true nature becomes impossible to ignore. She belittles those she considers below her rank. Maintenance workers are treated like furniture rather than people. She takes credit for her team's hard work during every meeting. Threats of termination become her primary way of motivating others. And through every moment of cruelty, Franklin is watching. In contrast, Maya treats every person as an equal. She makes an effort to learn everyone's name, regardless of their role. She brings small comforts to those who work the hardest. And she never forgets to thank the people who keep the building running. Franklin notices every act of quiet, unrewarded kindness. He sees the leader she is, even if she doesn't know it yet. Victoria prepares for what she believes is the most important day of her career. She steps toward the executive elevator, expecting an empty ride. But when the doors open, Franklin is already inside with his mop. "Not this elevator," Victoria says, her voice dripping with ice. "Excuse me?" Franklin asks, his voice calm and steady. "This elevator is for executives only," she declares, pointing to the door. The sign says all employees, Franklin notes, gesturing to the plaque. "And I'm saying get out," Victoria growls as the doors shut. She reaches over and slams her hand onto the emergency stop button. "Either you leave or security escorts you out," she threatens. Franklin calmly gathers his things and exits as soon as the doors open. Inside, Victoria laughs, thinking she has won a small victory. Victoria believes she is in a private space, but the building is alive. The hidden cameras in the elevator recorded every word and gesture. A red light blinks on the recording device, capturing her arrogance. Franklin knows the truth is now safely stored in the digital archives. The evidence of her character is undeniable and permanent. The boardroom is packed with the most powerful people in the company. Board members arrive, their faces serious as they prepare for the review. Victoria stands at the front, her smile radiating false confidence. She assumes the CEO is about to announce her massive promotion. The air in the room is thick with anticipation and hidden nerves. The doors swing open and the entire room suddenly goes silent. Victoria smiles, waiting to greet the CEO with a professional hug. Instead, Franklin Reed walks into the room in his janitor's clothes. Victoria bursts out laughing, unable to contain her mockery. "Someone got lost," she says, waiting for the room to laugh with her. But nobody laughs. The room is frozen in a heavy, awkward silence. The CEO approaches Franklin with a look of profound respect. "Mr. Reed," the CEO says, his voice echoing through the silent room. Victoria's smile disappears, replaced by a mask of pure confusion. "Would you like to begin?" the CEO asks, gesturing to the main seat. "Thank you," Franklin says, his voice now sounding like a leader's. He slowly removes his glasses and wipes them with a clean cloth. "For 3 years I have visited our offices disguised as a janitor." Gasps fill the room as the executives finally realize who he is. Victoria turns pale, her confidence evaporating like mist in the sun. "I wanted to see who respected people when no one was watching." He explains that a title is just a piece of paper, but character is real. "Most of our employees passed the test," he says with a small nod. "But some failed spectacularly," he adds, his voice growing colder. A large screen behind him lights up, flickering into life. Video after video begins playing on the massive boardroom screen. The room watches as Victoria insults a crying intern in the hallway. Another clip shows her mocking a custodian who was just cleaning. The most damning video shows her forcing Franklin off the elevator. The executives look on in horror, unable to believe her actions. Victoria tries to speak, but her words are hollow and weak. "This is out of context," Victoria cries out, her hands shaking. Franklin looks at her with a mix of pity and firm judgment. "Which part?" he asks, his voice cutting through her excuses. The silence that follows is devastating for Victoria's career. She realizes that no excuse can erase what the cameras caught. "The part where you mocked workers? Or where you stole credit? Or where you believed your title made you better than others?" The board members nod in agreement with Franklin's assessment. "Leadership is how you treat people who can do nothing for you." "Victoria Blake, your promotion is cancelled. You are terminated." Effective immediately, she is no longer a part of the company. Victoria stands, her face a mask of shock and growing anger. "You can't do this," she yells, but her voice lacks any power. "Actually, I can," Franklin replies with a calm, final tone. 2 security guards enter and stand on either side of her. She leaves the room in tears, her career destroyed by her own hand. The room is still as Franklin turns his attention to the back. "Maya Hernandez," he says, his voice warming significantly. Maya looks around, confused and startled to hear her name. "Would you stand, please?" Franklin asks, with a gentle smile. Maya slowly rises to her feet, her heart pounding in her chest. "3 months ago, your mother was hospitalized," Franklin says. "You spent nights in the waiting room, yet still showed up. You never complained, you just continued to do your best. Last month you paid for a stranger's lunch," he continues. "You thought nobody noticed," he says, catching her eye. "I noticed," Franklin concludes, his voice soft but clear. The room grows emotional as Franklin makes his announcement. "Beginning today, you are our newest vice president." Maya nearly collapses from the shock of the news. "Me?" she whispers, her eyes wide with disbelief and joy. "People can learn business. Character is harder to teach." The room erupts into a thunderous round of applause. 6 months have passed, and the atmosphere is entirely different. The tension that once filled the halls has been replaced by joy. Employee satisfaction and profits have reached record highs. The culture change started from the top and filtered down. Everyone feels valued, no matter what their job title says. Maya walks through the office with a new sense of purpose. She stops to greet people, her kindness still her greatest strength. She hasn't forgotten the lessons she learned on the way up. Franklin watches her from a distance, feeling immense pride. His vision for the company is finally becoming a reality. A young janitor accidentally bumps into Maya in the hallway. Coffee spills across the floor and onto Maya's expensive suit. The young employee panics, fearing the worst for his job. "I'm so sorry, I didn't see you," he cries out, cringing. He expects a lecture, but instead, Maya offers a warm smile. "It's okay, accidents happen," Maya says gently. "Let's clean it up together," she suggests, taking a napkin. Franklin watches the scene from the shadows, a smile on his face. The lesson has finally been learned by the entire organization. Character is revealed by how we treat those who can do nothing for us.